2021. The time is 6 p.m. And some of us are actually in the boardroom today. This is a Zoom meeting. Some of us are glad to sit back in our chairs, and we're just all over the place with this modern technology. So I will call the roll. I do want the public to know that we do not need to have a quorum in order to have the budget meeting. I'm going to start with District 1, Ms. Jasmine Bowles.
Present.
She is present. District 2, Mr. Mark Christmas, who I believe is out of town. District 3, Jesse Goree, that's me, I'm present. District 4, Victoria Williams.
I'm virtually present.
Not sure if she's present because we're having a few little technical, yes, she is present. District 5, Dr. D. Haney.
Present.
She's present. District 6, Miss Mary Baker.
Present.
She's present. District 7, Miss Sabrina Hill.
Present.
Ms. Hill is actually able to sit in her board seat. District 8, Dr. Alika Anderson. And District 9 is Mr. Benjamin Straker.
Present.
He's sitting in his board seat. Superintendent, Dr. Beasley.
Present.
Present. Attorney, Clem Doyle.
Present.
Is present. Let's see, we have our board coordinator, Dr. Shantara Rump Carter.
Present.
She's present. We have our administrative assistant, Ms. Don Blau. She is present.
Present.
Okay. We have our amazing business services group that's here tonight. They are going to present. Mr. White is joining us. I'm just calling all the people that I can see here in the boardroom. At this time, what we're going to do by law, we are legally bound to do budget hearings. The purpose of this meeting is for us to hear ideas or get input from the public. I'm not sure how many people we have signed up at this time to speak, but at this time, I am going to turn this over to Ms. Benton, who will give us a presentation for the proposed, our tentative budget for 2022, 23 fiscal year. I'm sorry, wait a minute, 21, 22. I'm trying to get way ahead of my time. Ms. Benton.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Dr. Beasley, members of the Board of Education. This evening, I'm going to provide just an overview of the approved tentative budget. This information has been posted on the website. It's been out there for a few weeks now. The board approved the tentative budget on May the 3rd, 2021. And so we're just going to jump right into the tentative budget as approved for right now. And I will share my screen. Okay.
Ms. Benton,
Yes.
before you begin, do we need to record this?
It's being recorded. Thank you.
Okay.
Can everyone see my screen okay?
We can see it.
Okay. So we're just going to jump right into the consolidated tentative budget that was approved by the Board of Education. We can see that the total budget is about $687 million. $496 million is the general fund. We see that the special revenue fund is approximately 9% of the budget, which is $91 million. That item is highlighted in red on the screen. The special revenue fund represents those funds that are earmarked for grants and federal resources. Also, you can see the enterprise fund, which is basically our athletic funds as well as our school nutrition fund. It's about $45 million. And so our capital outlay, which is our capital spending, is approximately 8%, which is $45 million. We'll go to the next item. As a total here, you can see that this is our revenue. that's listed here. This is just a general fund comparison. So we're just looking at one fund here. And this is a comparison to our current budget in this current school year for 2021. And you can see that the total revenue is about $444.5 million. And for the proposed tentative budget, which has already been approved by the Board of Education, it's not final yet, it's about $496.5 million. You can see year over year that our expenses are pretty much at bay, but you can see just a slight increase in our salaries and benefits. And most of that is being driven by the increase in the TRS rate. In our operation, just a slight increase. And as the Board of Education is aware, and also the community, you know, we've been doing a really good job over the last several years, just trying to make sure that we spend what we needed as it relates to operations. And so we have been cutting just a little bit back. And so you can see just a slight increase of about 1.6 million here for 2022. The next screen here is our revenue. So this screen, we're just looking at directly at our revenue, and you can kind of see where some of those changes are projected in our revenue. For the school year 2020-2021, obviously it was a very difficult year in terms of revenue, not just for Clayton County, but just nationally. So you can see where we're kind of recouping some of the revenue that we lost this school year as it relates to just the total economic turndown. We're receiving an additional 30 million from the state, and then additional 21 million from our local revenue. Property taxes are slightly up just a little bit, but most of this increase is related to our projection for residents who may pay their property taxes late. And so you can see that increase there. Total increase in revenue year over year is about $52 million. So again, this is just another view of the expenses, and we've kind of already talked about that. And so here are the changes again. About 4 million in salaries and benefits, 1.6 million in operations, for a total of about 6 million. Now, the biggest change that we're kind of seeing, as the community knows, and this Board of Education knows, that we've been allocated funds for federal spending as it relates to CARES. And so we are able to allocate some of those spendings that the general fund would typically take on, like utilities, transportation, and facilities, of about $34 million. And so you can see on this screen where we're going to be pushing about $34 million of expenses out of the general fund so that the CARES fund can pick up those expenses. And so then the other spendings and the recommendations from the superintendent includes a step increase for all employees, which is about 5.7 million, a 3% cost of living allowance, which is about 10.2 million, and of course compensation incentives, which is about 11.6 million dollars. And then we have some other things that's included in the budget, such as compensation adjustment and retirement contributions. And so we'll go to the next screen, because I believe that this is where many of our changes are for the 2021-2022 budget. And so what's being recommended is a number of incentives for employees. Most of the increase to 34 million is going directly to employees. And so we've been really focusing on how to make our compensation program more competitive to the Metropolitan District. And so we're dropping in professional learning incentives for employees who are on the T scale of $1,000, a career ladder incentives, and those are a number of endorsements. If employees have these endorsements that are school-based, they will receive $500 per endorsement, and those have been identified in documentation. Longevity incentive to encourage our employees to spend their career here at the district, and that's $50 per year, starting at year 3. A years of service incentive, which is an incentive on top of the longevity incentive for just key milestone years. As we previously discussed, the retirement contribution of $1,000, and that's for employees who do not participate in the TRS program, to make sure that we are investing in their retirement, additional investment. Currently, the district does invest but we would just like to enhance that investment, so it's $1,000. Our equity adjustment on the teacher scale, we dropped that in, and that's included there. That's about $500. And again, we have been concentrating on how to make our total compensation competitive. And so we've been identifying key areas and certain things to improve. And so equalizing our hourly pay rate so that all employees are paid on an hourly basis, the same as a 225-day employee. Those are the major items in the budget this year. Again, most of the recommendations and the approvals so far have been around employee incentives, making sure that we're beefing up our overall compensation program. And that's pretty much it. And so I am not aware at this time of anyone who is registered to vote. So I don't know if we have any hands that are up. So I'll stop sharing my screen at this time. Are there any comments and/or questions?
I believe that we have put in our chat that if anyone wants to make a comment, to let us know, and then we will switch them so that they can do so live. At this time, while we're waiting on that, Ms. Benton, I would like for you to introduce your staff, because we do need to see those people that are putting in this very hard work for us to have a balanced budget. So if you could just introduce your staff and have them wave or say hello or whatever.
Absolutely. It's definitely a team effort. And many of us spend many hours, 6-7 days a week working. And so at this time, I'm going to introduce our fabulous staff in business services, particularly those that work in the budget area. It's Ms. Tamika Billingsley. She's the finance director. You have Lisa Domsel, who's the coordinator of position control, and she does budget. We also have Nefertiria Williams. She's a budget analyst. And we have Mr. Charles Hobbs, who's been with us about 8 or 9 months and have hit the ground running here. Wave your hand, Mr. Hobbs. And then we have Ms. Shanita Connolly. She supports Ms. Tamika Billingsley. She's the administrative assistant. And then, of course, we have our fabulous superintendent, Dr. Beasley.
They already know me, Miss Benton.
Oh, okay, they know you're fabulous.
Okay, well, this meeting is quite interesting. I want everybody to know that we have just spent the past couple of hours celebrating our retirees. So we all kind of have been multitasking. And I want to thank Marcus Holston and Lorraine Van Valen because they are tech people, and we really have been trying to work on some technology here because, like I said, we have a few members in the boardroom. I think Dr. Beasley somewhere in the building. We're kind of all over the place.
I'm here.
But we did want the public to be able to view this meeting. And I want to thank Jada Dawkins with communications, and I see Jacqueline Clark, who's also helping us, and of course, Mr. White, Charles White. So I think that we have probably thanked everybody. If I missed someone, please let me know now. I'm gonna ask Dr. Rump Carter, do we have anyone who wishes to speak?
Madam Chair, we do not have anyone at this time.
Okay, so we don't have anyone that is interested in speaking. I don't know who's watching the meeting. I know that several of you all have sent me emails and several of you all have called me, and we will have another budget hearing, and we really would like to hear from you. Don't be afraid if you have an idea toward what we should be doing with our money, or toward the budget or whatever. I spoke to someone yesterday and they were saying, well, maybe it's just a waste of time for me to say anything, but that's not true, because we are open to ideas, and we're trying, as Ms. Benton said, we're trying to have a competitive salary. We want to retain our employees. We just lost a whole lot of happy people that drove through the parking lot today because they are retiring. They won't have to wake up anymore. They can watch all of Good Morning America and all of that good stuff. When it's raining, they can just feel sorry for us because we got to get up and come to work. So anyway, since we don't have anyone that is going to comment, then at this time, I am going to adjourn the meeting and thank everyone for joining us this evening. And we're looking forward to possibly hearing some input at our next meeting. So at this time, we are adjourned. Thank you all so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, good night.